pickup truck that drives up to your shop that sounds like this. The diagnosis time is over. Blew out a spark plug on number 3 or 4. Very common problem on the Triton engines, the Ford Triton engines, is it'll blow the spark plug out of the hole, usually on the passenger side, number 3, number 4. Sometimes it'll blow that spark plug out and actually ruin the hole, and you have no other choice but to take the head off. But I would try this first. They make a special tool designed to help you drill out, retap, and rethread that hole and put an insert in it so you can put a new spark plug in it. That's what we're going to show you how to do. To replace the spark plug on the Triton engines, they've made this special kit. It's got all the parts you need in it, but they do make a different one. I've never used it, you may want to try it. By Recoil. It's a kit like that. It's got basic stuff in it. Doesn't have as much, but I think you can get the job done. None of them come with a video scope. You'll have to get that yourself. You can use a boroscope or a video scope to look down in that piston chamber. It's a pretty handy tool. There's a few things you got to get out of your way to make access. Take the PCV loose, tuck it up out of the way. There's 3 little bolts that hold this down, and there'll be 2 vacuum lines on that. Pull them out and then you get this out of your way. Now what happens here is it ends up blowing the spark plug out of the hole. When it does that, it blows the coil out of the hole and it breaks the little ear off. So you're going to have to replace the coil because there's no other way to get it tightened down in there. Now the first step on this kit is to use this drill to drill out the hole down there where the threads are. But you simply just stick that down in the hole, use an extension, a 1/2 inch extension, and your 1/2 inch ratchet. And then you just use this as a drill. And the one thing I will tell you is you got to keep a lot of downward pressure on it. It's just like any drill bit. It's got to cut into that. If you just turn it, it's going to turn on top. You got to keep downward pressure on it to let it cut into the hole. The next step is we've got to use this tap to tap threads. But the first thing you do is you have to take this little guide and you set it down in there so that it will sit flush on the head, and then this tool will actually slide through it. And it keeps it all lined up so you'll be cutting the thread straight. So to install this tool, you simply slide it down on top of the hole and lay it on top. And then you take this tool and slide it down through it. Now make sure that red tool is sitting flush on top of the head. And then you use your extension and your ratchet, and you do the same thing. You turn that until you cut it all the way through. Now I'm going to take this out to show you something. Now this is setting on top of the head. This is what's happening down there, and you've got to make sure you do this. When you slide this all the way down, you're going to hit the threads, and you're going to be down about that far. You need to tap this thing until this goes all the way down and contacts the red. It won't go any further. If you start tapping it and you just go like that far, you won't be all the way through. You've got to go all the way through until the stop part of the thread tap hits the red, and then it'll start tightening up, and that means you're all the way through. Then you just thread it back out, take this out, we're ready for the next step. After you use the drill bit and the thread tapper, you're going to have metal shavings down in that piston chamber. You've got to get those out of there. Best thing I've found is I've come up with this type of a deal. It comes out straight, but I just bend it so that I can get down in there, into the past where the spark plug is and down into the piston chamber, and blast that with a lot of air for a few minutes, and that'll blast all the shavings out of there. We'll show you what we're talking about. Okay, I'm using the video scope to look down that spark plug hole. As you know, that spark plug is recessed down in there good 4 or 5 inches. And when you blow the shavings out, you've got to be able to stick this wand not just down into the 4 or 5 inch part, but you've got to be able to stick it down past where the threads are. If I can get it down in there, where you're actually down in the piston chamber. So you have to get your air nozzle past the threads down on top of the piston to blow out all those metal shavings that you can see down in there. sometimes it's a little bit of a trick to get this past the 4 or 5 inches of the place where the spark plug's at, but you need to get it down into the spark plug hole. So what I usually do is just stick it in here at the top and then let the tip of it kind of run down that wall, and you can feel it when it gets down to the bottom. Now you've got to fiddle around with it and get it to move over and actually go down into the spark plug hole. You'll be able to tell when it goes down in it. Now it's in it, see it will go down at least another couple inches. Now we're down on top of the piston. We're going to blast it with air. Now what I like to do is pull it out and then blast all the area up here, and then do it again. That way none of those little metal shavings will slip and go down into the piston area. The next step is we have to insert the insert. It comes with the kit. This is all the stuff that you need. But you take the insert and you make sure the cuts are actually on there first. And then this is threaded. The inside of the insert is threaded, and it will thread on there. Just thread it up till it won't go no more. And then you take this primer. You spray the insert with that primer. And then you take this adhesive and you put it along the very bottom edge of the threads. Now we're ready to put that down in the hole. Now we've got the hole down there re-tapped, and it should match these threads. So we're just going to screw this down into the hole. You should just be able to screw that down into the aluminum part of the head. Just screw it till it's tight. Now once it's threaded down all the way as tight as you can get it with your fingers, then you just back it out, and hopefully that insert will stay down in there. It's been my experience that sometimes I've had to do it 2 or 3 times to get the insert to stay. Okay, when you take this out, you see that the insert is no longer on here, it stayed down in the hole. The next step is you put this back down in because it has to guide this. This is what you hammer on. Now I'm going to put it down the hole, but to show you the same situation, this will go down there, and when it slides in down all the way, it's going to be about like that. You hammer this down until that white line reaches the red. So you hammer it down to like that, and then you're done. Don't go any further than that white line. Okay, as you can see, we don't hammer it a long ways, just till that white line meets the red. Okay, the white line is no longer showing. So then we pull it out. And you're ready for the spark plug. Now we put the air hose back in there after the insert's in. Just blow it out one more time. Now it's time to put in the new spark plug. I like to use these little flexible deals where you put them on there. You stick that down in the hole and get the spark plug started without cross-threading anything. Since it's rubber, once you feel the plug tightening up, it'll just pull right off. You want to be sure and get it tight. Time for the new coil. Sounds a lot better. Next time you have a Ford Triton engine come in, it sounds like it's blowing out a spark plug, it probably has. You can do the job, but don't try and do it without the special tools. They're going to be required to get it done right.
Don't try this at home.